Okay, I'm sick of coming across these articles where the people that write them always say that you have to consult with the doctor before like taking turmeric or before drinking a lot of water, right? And then they make fun of people that are into natural health. I'm like, are you kidding me? I will never ever go back to allopathic medicine for any health problems. Now, injury where like trauma is different. I think that's where their place is, right? Car accidents, shootings, stabbings, emergency surgeries. That's it. That's the only way I'm ever going back to an allopathic doctor again. For those of you guys that don't know, allopathic medicine is the modern medicine that we abide by in Western society, right? So allopathic is like the guys in the white coats with the stethoscopes and that love to give the vaccines, like those people. Yeah, I don't even deal with them. But like, if I had cancer, I would not go to an oncologist. I know so many people now that have been cured by cancer naturally and without it damaging their immune system, because that's what chemotherapy and radiation, and that's what they do. It damages your immune system. Yeah, it kills the cancer, but it also kills your immune system. And it's just really frustrating to see these people, these fake news nerds that think that they can tell you what to do about your health or make you feel bad about it because you went to a homeopath and they actually cured you, as opposed to going to an allopathic doctor for like 20 years. And you finally go to like a chiropractor or an herbalist or a nutritionist and you are like totally cured, right? And then they make fun of you. They say that, oh, it was placebo, or if it, or they're just making it up, or it's witchcraft. No, allopathic medicine, when it comes to fighting diseases, that's witchcraft, right? They're the ones putting the like aborted fetal cells and animal cell lines in vaccines and the formaldehyde and the mercury. Like, that's witchcraft, okay? That's nothing, like none of those things that they put in vaccines in any amount is anything that our body requires. Yet, they're saying that we should listen to them. Get out of here. Like, never again, right? And don't let your doctor bully you, right? And a lot of people are in the health situations that they're in right now because they let their doctor bully them. And I also see these articles, the crisis against science, and why people don't like rising up to defend doctors because people have lost trust in doctors. Yeah, because you don't fix shit. When you start fixing shit, then we'll have trust in you, okay? But you don't, so we don't, okay? So it's like, you're just gonna write prescriptions to put a band-aid on the symptom and not even cure the problem. And then we go outside of the allopathic box, and then we go to like, an acupuncturist and it cures us. I'm having so much more success with the health problems that I've had for years since I was a kid by not going to allopathic doctors, okay? I think the allergy shots that I had really, I have allergies now, but way better than what I used to have when I was a kid. But I think the allergy shots made me worse in the sense that I'm not breaking out, but I'm expressing inside. Now I have a lot of internal inflammation that I have to deal with. Okay, thanks vaccines, thanks allergy shots, No more. Yeah, I go to like an acupuncturist and a chiropractor, and I start like looking at homeopathy and all these other types of doctors that actually have to undo the damage that was done by all of that. So now I can figure out like what's going on, what I have to address. I've seen a huge amount of progress, and but now it's like this other damage that has been done by the allopathic medicine practitioners that I have to undo. Had I known this earlier, like 20 years earlier, however much earlier, then, I wouldn't even be dealing with what I'm dealing now. But yeah, they have the nerve to like make fun of you because you actually want to be cured and not be, a slave to their cult mentality, And these doctors get offended, like, oh, like, you lay person, how dare you challenge my authority? How dare you actually read medical journals yourself? How dare you actually look for cures yourself? You should listen to me, right? And then there are people that are like, oh, we're not worthy. They want to bow down to these doctors too. That's another thing. You're giving them your power. So I'm not ragging on all doctors because I know that there are lots of great doctors out there, right? And I feel sorry for doctors because that's what they're taught in medical school, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks for doctors. I just watched a speech at the VIE event that's going on right now in Washington, and it was Dr. Sears. And poor guy, he was crying. He's a doctor, but he's been critical of vaccinations. I wouldn't even say that he's anti-vaccine, because I don't think he calls himself vaccine, but he gives his patients the choice to vaccinate. He has a book called, I think he's the one that wrote, I want to say, the Vaccine Friendly Plan, and he gives people the choice to vaccinate on a full schedule and a spaced out schedule. I mean, personally, I think they're bullshit. I wouldn't be doing any of it. You know me, but people need to have the option, because I'm not telling people that want to vaccinate that they shouldn't vaccinate. I'm just telling you that they don't work and they make you sick. So why would you use something that doesn't work and it makes you sick? But if you still want to, that's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. Just don't force them on me. This is where it's getting nasty, because they're trying to mandate stuff. Do you guys get it? Okay, so these doctors he was basically taught, or this doctor, Dr. Sears, he gave this speech, and poor guy was crying because, he feels really guilty. I'm sure he's vaccinated maybe hundreds of kids. They're injured in some way: eczema, allergies, lupus, autism. Autism is just the tip of the iceberg, and this is what they don't want you to know. This is why they don't want people looking into autism, because then they'll talk about all the autoimmune diseases. That's going to lead them to all the other stuff, right? We didn't have all these autoimmune diseases before vaccines were introduced, right? We didn't vaccinate animals, we didn't vaccinate humans. We lived on hundreds of thousands of years, modern man, and before that, prehistoric man, millions of years without vaccines, and so did animals. So now, we need them. What changed? We only, incidents, when you talk about disease in a society, it leads to sanitation or lack of sanitation, overcrowding in an area where there's lack of sanitation, and usually famine, because a lot of anthropologists would say famine and disease go hand in hand, because when you are lacking certain nutrients in your body, then you are susceptible to to getting sick, basically. Certain vitamins, minerals. For instance, scurvy. If you guys Google scurvy and vitamin C, scurvy, those pictures are horrific. They look like people are turning into a zombie. Like their skin is sagging off of your face. If you're severe, that's what they call English people limeys. Have you ever heard that? Limey is like calling English people the N-word. And back in the day, I don't think they'd really get offended now. I don't know, I'm not English, but I'm just saying. But the English people figured this out, the sailors, and they would call them limey. They would carry limes around when they would go. They would take limes on them when they would go on their long voyages, because they knew if they didn't get vitamin C, then they get scurvy. They figured that. They made that link to scurvy. Another disease, pellagra. You look those up. All these were either traced back basically to lack of sanitation or severe malnutrition. Anyway. So Dr. Sears is crying. He's talking about doctors. Where do we get to this place where now we're enemies and doctors have become bullies? And it is sad. We should be having this partnership with our doctor. And, we should not even be, these medical journals should be out. All of this information should be out on the table. The patient should know, about their body and what's going on and how it works, and as much as the doctor. I mean, of course the doctor goes to school, but they should have, I don't think it should be, it seems like now they're making this like a crime to want to go and seek this information out yourself, when I feel like it's more of a partnership. If you know more about your body and how it works and what's going on, you can better describe to the doctor what's going on with you. It makes it better for him. It's better for both parties. But no, they've trained these doctors, they've brainwashed and indoctrinated these doctors to be zombies, to just memorize, regurgitate information, to write prescription, to think they're better than everybody else, because lay people, they can't even get 2 feet within doctors without having to bow on their knees because they're not worthy. And this is the attitude that they have, and I've seen this as a patient. And a lot of the doctors that are woke, I would say, or don't have the courage to come out and speak about what's going on in the anti-vaccines or in the move. I would just say this: they have the courage to be critical of vaccines and talk about their experiences. A lot of them say, yeah, I was arrogant. Yeah, I did think that. Yeah, I really didn't give my patients the respect that they deserve, and I commend them for that, because I think in the long run, most of the patients, even the patients that have been injured, they just want to know that, they want to see that you're sorry. If you say that you're sorry and you try and correct what you've done, I think most people will forgive you. Now, for some people, maybe sorry is not enough because their child has been damaged. They've been damaged. Their whole lineage has been damaged because, a lot of doctors were too arrogant to admit that they were wrong, or they were arrogant to admit that their patient knew something that they didn't. And a lot of people are getting sick of this arrogance. A lot of people are getting fed up with it, especially when it's coming at the expense of their health and the health of their loved ones. They've just had it. I've had it, I don't bow down to doctors. I don't give them, I don't, even when I've been out socializing, people are like, hey, I'm a doctor. I'm like, okay. It doesn't make you any better than me, right? Maybe, if, they put their legs on one pen's leg at a time, just like I do. Maybe if they did like backflips, if they can like throw their pants up in the air and do a backflip and then get in their pants that way, that would be impressive. But, still wouldn't make them better than me. I would just say it's impressive. And then I probably want to learn how to do it myself, but I'm just saying. So, it's very infuriating for a lot of people that go seeking help and they're bullied by their doctors. They're kicked out of their office. And you guys remember that your doctor works for you. There's a really good book. If you guys can find it, you might be able to get a PDF of it. I don't know if it's out in print. You might be able to get it from your library. It's called How to Raise Your Child Despite Your Pediatrician by Dr. Mendelsohn. It's an old book. I think he wrote it like in the 80s. Anyway, if you can get a hold of that book, because nowadays pediatrician visits are just well visits for vaccines. And if you get sick, they'll maybe, write you a prescription that maybe will do something, but it's not gonna, if you're chronically ill, if you have autoimmune disease, it's just quelling the symptoms, right? You get an EpiPen, it's stopping the immediate anaphylaxis, but it doesn't cure the peanut allergies. Asthma inhalers don't cure asthma. Insulin doesn't cure diabetes, right? It just keeps you alive longer, right? So you don't die immediately for having a severe autoimmune attack, which I believe most of it is called by vaccines and the environment. They work hand in hand to keep you sick, and the EMFs, all that shit, it's just chipping away at your immune system and also causing it to attack itself because you're being injected with stuff that causes your body to react. So, don't let them bully you. They're people. Just remember, they're people just like us, right? The first documented serial killer was a doctor. I think I've said this in a few other videos, but remember that, okay? His name was H.H. Holmes, and I'm not saying that doctors are serial killers. I'm not saying that, doctors are wittingly in on what they're doing, but they've been compartmentalized. They've been indoctrinated and then compartmentalized. And going back to Dr. Sears, he was saying, like, for a doctor to admit that they damaged or even killed children, when they're in the business of actually doing the opposite, it must be devastating. I remember when I was really going down this rabbit hole, I thought about my own pediatrician. I love my pediatrician when I was growing up, and I thought about him, and I thought that if he had come to this conclusion, he'd be devastated. I think doctors don't want to have that thought. It's horrific for them, okay? So I have sympathy for them. I have sympathy for the fact that they're in debt, but at the same time, it's like there's sides now. So if you're a doctor and you're coming across this information, are you going to continue vaccinating your patients, like for real? Because you're scared? So basically now that you know that you're killing people and maiming them and damaging them, you're going to continue to do it, And there was this doctor, another doctor who kind of did his own study in his office where he had unvaccinated patients and vaccinated patients, and he saw that the vaccinated patients were way healthier. But I was just like, but he's still letting people get vaccinated in his office, and I'm still like, why are you still vaccinating children? Why? If you even know, you have the evidence yourself, why are you still doing this? So, you know, yeah, and I understand he's scared, but now he's basically, you know, all it takes, what is that quote that says, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing? You know, a lot of good men, a lot of good doctors and nurses and people in the medical industry. Most, like 99.999% of the people are in that medical industry because they want to do good. They want to help people, right? So I think that you know, like I said, I have sympathy, but at the same time, these people have no power over you. You have to realize that if they don't have your best interest in mind, hashtag walk away, walk away. You know, find another doctor, find somebody that has your own self-interest in mind. Do your own research. We're so lucky now. We have the internet. We don't have to do microfiche. Remember in the back of the day, you had to go to the library? I didn't have a car. I have to like go on the bus. Take 2 buses to the library downtown. Like look up, you know, through when the card system, like what I wanted to look up, find it, get the microfiche, get the big old machine. It was such a hassle, okay? Now you got your phone, you can use your computer, you have access to so much information, journals, other people in the industry that are speaking out, videos, you can listen to testimonies, you know, and the pro-vax movement act like they don't do that when all they do is push fake pictures of people in the iron lungs for polio. And the picture I'm talking about, though, by the way, on a historical website, not an anti-vaccine website, says that that particular picture was staged, that the machines weren't even plugged in and not working. And I'm not saying that people didn't have polio. I'm just saying that they use ad hominem all the time, and then they accuse people that tell their vaccine injured stories of doing the same thing, but yet that's all they do. They have no science to back up proof of vaccines ever working, or, you know, proof of them being effective or safe, right? And they have their little robotic mantra, vaccines are safe and effective, vaccines save lives, vaccines save lives. That's all they say, that's all they do, all right? So love yourself. Don't let your doctor bully you, you know? And for you doctors that are like all offended, or people in the medical industry that's all offended, why are you, like, I would suggest that you direct your anger to the institution that educated you. Because you've been gypped, you've been played, you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and on your degree and lots of time and energy, and all it's done is actually they've trained you to be unwitting murderers and maimers. And it sucks for you. And I know, you know, I have a sarcastic tone right now, but it really does. If I was in your situation, I'd be pissed. And I really think, I don't know, you know, how this would happen, because I'm trying to throw this idea out there because I think this should happen, because I do side with doctors. I think that they should sue. There should be like, they should be given like debt forgiveness, or there should be like some sort of class action lawsuit for doctors that were not taught this stuff and was taught that vaccines are safe without any studies. You know, they should have that. But then again, a lot of these doctors that are coming out of their own free will, they also, I know Dr. Humphrey said, you know what, I could be mad, but I also, I had a choice of whether I was going to study or not. And she did have an incident when she was doing all this research and she was trying to show it to her colleagues. They made fun of her and they berated her and they treated her like shit. They had their chance. So a lot of this, I would say, is a spiritual war, because, you know, our society on so many levels and in so many different areas is in a situation where, you know, we're not progressing, not because of we don't have the technology or the resources, but it's because of greed and ego. Simple stuff that is, you know, that has destroyed grand civilizations for ages. We just have to, you know, and fear fear, greed, ego. I know there's probably more sins or virtues that I'm not naming, but wait, those are anyway. This is getting too long, but I just wanted to say that. Yeah. All right. Talk to you later. Peace and love. Bye. Mwah.